What's up, everybody, YouTube? This is your boy Hidden Angel Lionheart coming to you live with a Dark Necrofear Destiny board, aka Death Board, Ouija board deck profile for you all. Now, I know I've been trying to get ideas and suggestions from my people on Snapchat and people on YouTube, but you guys suck at responding in the comments. I'm just throwing that out there. And, yeah. But anyway, it was due to some friends on Snapchat that actually gave me a firm suggestion of what I should do. One friend suggested PK Fire. I'm just like, yeah, I don't own that deck, and it's a little pricey at the moment still, and I'm just kind of like on a budget, and also Christmas is coming up, so I'm trying to be very particular on what I do and do not spend on, if that makes any sense to you guys at all. And then, and then I have one more deck I have an idea for, might I add, and I might consider doing that one tomorrow, at some point, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna throw some stuff together later tonight, maybe. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up now. We're gonna go straight into the deck profile, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Also, as a firm reminder, this is not a competitive deck. This is just for fun. This is just a BS and bullcrap with friends. If you just want to play along, I mean, if you want to play it at like locals, that's fine. I mean, it's mostly just stuff I just threw in for fun. I kind of got an idea from Team APS and Dark Arm Duelist. Not so much Team Sam, because I don't think he really did a Dark Necrofear deck. If he did, I really missed out. But anyway, I'm going to shut up. As I said, we're going to get straight into the deck profile. Throw the extra deck to the side. And here we go for the main course of the monsters. Here we start out with the OG that started it all, Dark Necrofear herself. She's a level 8 Fiend type monster, and what she does is you have to have up to 3 Fiend type monsters in your graveyard. You banish 3 monsters to special summon her. When she's destroyed, I think it is either by combat or a card effect. If you're I think it is by battle. When your opponent basically destroys her, she is allowed to take herself from the graveyard to put her in the spell and trap card zone, and you can take control of that opponent's monster and make it your own. So it's basically a snatch steal on steroids, minus the life point gain for your opponent. I mean, why does your opponent need life points unless you're playing Nurse Burn, or Burn deck in general? Alright, so we are playing 3 of the new Cursed Necrofear, and I will have to take one because I kind of had a blah moment and forgot what its effect is. But it's basically the same concept. It is also a level 8 Fiend type monster with more attack points than its counterpart, Dark Necrofear. So the Cursed Necrofear, of course, go hand in hand. Basically what this card does, it cannot be summoned or special summoned unless you are to cannot be special summoned by a card effect. You can target 3 of your banished Fiend type monsters to special summon this card from your hand. So, for combo example, if you just so happen to have Cursed Necrofear in hand, and you have Dark Necrofear, you banish 3 Fiends from your graveyard to summon her, and then if you have 3 Fiends banished, you can just summon this as a freebie. So that's like a free level 8 for sure, of course, for the battle. I mean, it had a similar effect, but instead of banishing your graveyard, you banish your banish zone back into the graveyard, so I guess you return instead of banish. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard because it was destroyed in your monster zone by an opponent's card effect, or card, sorry, graveyard, you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of face-up spell and trap cards you control with different names. Hence, you can only use the effect of Cursed Necrofear once per turn. So basically, when this card gets destroyed, so since this is a death board deck, Destiny board, etc., etc., depending on the number of Destiny board cards, like Destiny board is the letter F, and then you have INAL, and then you have Sanctuary. If you were to have 5 of those cards on the field, because of course, when you hit final, you basically you have the win condition, so the effect is null and void. So if you have Dark Sanctuary, whatever amount, that's like a plus whatever amount of pops for you. And then we are playing for tech cards that support this, and ironically enough, this is 6 Monster Reborns for the deck, so Monster Reborn is not necessary. We are playing 3 Dark Spirit of Malice. Basically, as I said, what this card does is, if this card is in your hand or on the field, and you are attacking it, or if you are being attacked directly, you're able to discard this card from your hand or send from field to special summon a fiend-type monster level 8, one of these two, ignoring the summoning conditions, so where they say it cannot be normal or special summoned. This card basically bypasses that ruling and says, haha, screw you, I get to summon back one of these. However, their effects are negated, which is not going to matter, because as soon as they hit the graveyard, their effects are going to pop off regardless, so it don't matter. And plus, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you are able to make your opponent target that monster that was special summoned. So if you special summon the Curse or the Dark, your opponent must attack one of these two. It is a regardless situation. And then the other effect states simply, while this card is in your graveyard, except during a damage step, you can add this card back to your hand, and you can only use the effect of Dark Spirit of Malice once per turn. And that only happens if... Oh yeah, if one of the level 8 monsters just so happens to be destroyed, you basically get this card back to your hand. But it's a once per turn. However, its counterpart, the 3 Dark Spirit of Banishment, same effect applies. If this card is being attacked, or if you are being attacked, you can discard 2 graveyard to special summon back one of your 2 Necrofears. So, in other words, again, when I say this card is, this deck is 6 Monster Reborns, I basically mean 2 per turn. So if you happen to have both in hand, you basically just say, hey, buddy, by the way, haha. And also, its effect states, because the effect of Malice is different. Banishment and Malice have 2 separate effects. The second effect states, yeah, if a level 8 fiend-type monster is sent to your graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can add this card from your hand. But this is the one that makes your opponent target for attack. Malice is just the recover. It's just a monster recovery, if you want to just call it that, for example. And then we're playing 3 Doomdog Octorus. What this card basically does is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, I think that is... Yeah, if this card is sent from field to graveyard, you can add a level 8 fiend-type monster from deck to hand. You can use the effect once per turn. So, in other words, this card is a searcher for your Dark Necrofear. This deck basically solidly revolves around getting your Curse or Dark Necrofear out and your Destiny board stuff. So, as I say, this is an Ouiji board dash Dark Necrofear occult deck. This deck is strictly based on terrifying your opponent to the point of bitter despair and just misery and destruction. Yes, this is your searcher and this is your monster reborns. These are your monster reborns and this is your searcher. It's basically a terraforming for just your Dark Necrofears, or Dark and Cursed Necrofears, I should say. And then we are playing 3 copies of Terrifying Toddler of Torment. Now, this card is freaking annoying. I will put it this way. It is a flip effect monster. What this card does is you can send 1 fiend-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. So say, for instance, the combo with this is you were to flip Toddler. When Toddler gets flipped, you can send Octorus to the graveyard. When Octorus is sent to the graveyard, you're able to search off one of your Necrofears. So no matter what, you're getting Necrofear if you draw into either of these monsters, which is actually amazing. However, it does have a second effect. If this card is sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, if you were to send itself, you can special summon this card in face down defense position, and you can only use the effect of Terrifying Toddler Torment once per turn. So, therefore, if you just want to send this to just, like, if you're being attacked and you got nothing else to defend with, I mean, if you want to send the other Toddler, be my guest. But if you want to send the Octorus and you don't mind the damage, if the play that you're getting into isn't as serious or whatever, then, yeah, this is your main card you want to play with for sure, which you can't go wrong. And then, of course, you're getting your Dark Necrofears regardless. And hang on one moment. Sorry, I think I was off. For some reason, I thought the video was going to be sideways instead of straight up and down instead of sideways. Anyway, for more tech support, we are also playing 1 Archfiend Empress. And now, basically, yes, we're playing it a little bit. We're only playing 1 Archfiend engine. What this card states is, if exactly 1 face-up Dark Fiend monster on the field except this card would be destroyed, you can banish a Dark Fiend monster from your graveyard instead. When this card is destroyed and sent from the field to graveyard, you can target 1 level 6 or higher Dark Fiend-type monster in your graveyard except for Archfiend Empress and bring it back once per turn. So, Yeah, I might consider doing a change up with that because I did build a sideboard, so I probably have a couple hand trap ideas I could just use to replace her. But she's just a fill-in because these two just specifically state you can bring them back ignoring the summoning conditions. However, since this card does not bring back for summoning condition, you're mainly just going to use her for the first effect, which is not too bad. I'm not going to argue. And then we were playing one copy of Sangyin because I still play the old ruling. I'm not going to lie because 3 Sangyin is just super cloggy for me in all honesty. And basically Sangyin, you just basically you add one monster with 1500 or less attack points, and since most of your monsters, actually I take that back, not most of them, only Terrifying Toddler and Doomed Octorus are the only ones with 1500 less attack points. You can add them to your hand. So again, that's your searcher to go into Toddler. You flip Toddler for Octorus. Octorus gets your searches off. So I'm explaining combos as I'm doing this for you guys. So anyway, we are also playing 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld. Now, okay, I'm gonna have to do some rearranging here because, yeah. But anyway, as you guys are aware, Tour Guide is basically that monster. As soon as it's summoned and hits the field, you can special summon a level 3 or lower, basically one level 3 fiend type monster from your deck straight to the field. So in other words, if you guys were to play Toddler, you could do in the Sangyin, go for a Link summon and get your search off. Or you can do Tour Guide and go into Octorus, so when that card goes to the graveyard, then you get the search for Necrofear, or one of the Necrofears. So, etc., etc., you're still getting that freebie summon for sure, and that freebie search. Search and summon, you're basically got constant resources to get stuff into your hand. But that's it for the tech cards, guys. We are going to move straight into the other cards, and that basically we're going to be going into our spell engine and whatnot. These are brand new sleeves, so it's a little tricky. And I'm sure you guys know Dragon Shield sleeves are just very annoying until you get them broken in, I guess you could say. So, as I said, that's it for the monster lineup. We're going to go straight into the spells now. Okay, so for the spells, we are playing the main field spell that Bakura used in the Battle City tournament when he went up against Yugi. We are playing 3 of the Dark Sanctuary field spell. This is the brand new field spell that just got released a few sets ago that is to support the Destiny board archetype and whatnot. And what this card specifically does, if a Spirit Message card would be placed on the field with Destiny board, you can special summon it as a normal monster. So therefore, your spells are getting treated as monsters, which you just got to be very particular on how you would want to do that, though. Just going to say, it would be very cautious to be how you would do that. Instead, and if you do, it is unaffected by card effects except Destiny board and cannot be targeted for attacks. Okay, so yeah, you basically got a impenetrable defender unless your opponent's playing kaijus or has a Dark Ruler or no more, just to say screw you. But then again, if you're playing Mystic Mindburn, this card is basically protected because you're just getting a free win regardless. And that's why you basically play multiple copies of the Spirit Message cards like INAL, because again, you want to have that win condition no matter what. And anyway, it cannot be targeted for attacks, which is a plus, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. However, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, toss a coin, and if your result is a heads, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of the current attack of the opponent's monster. Jeez, could you imagine playing against a Cyber Dragon OTK deck, they flip a coin and they screw up and they hit themselves for a 1-turn kill? That would be so messed up. Alright, so now we're playing 3 of the new Dark Spirits Mastery. Basically what Dark Spirit Mastery does is you're able to discard 1 card from your hand to add 1 Destiny board or 1 level 8 Bean monster from your deck to your deck or graveyard to your hand. So, in other words, this is basically another searcher. It can go into either the Destiny board or you can search out your Necrofears. But since you got the monsters that help you search out the Necrofears, this card would be basically mained for the Destiny board. So once you got Dark Sanctuary set up, you can flip for Destiny board or whatever. So this card is actually super nice for that. It's a searcher for both your spells and for your trap and or your monster. Also, you can banish this card from your graveyard except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, so next turn you'll be able to use the effect. Place any number of Destiny Board and or Spirit Message cards with different names from your hand or graveyard on the bottom of the deck in any order. Then draw the same number of cards. You can only use the effect of the Spirit of Masteries once per turn. So, if anything were to happen to your Destiny Board cards or anything, this is your backup recovery. So if your opponent decides the Harpy Feather Duster or Cosmic Cyclone or whatever, you can use Dark Spirit of Mastery, banish it to recover those cards, and then say, oh, hi, by the way, I can banish this, and then draw cards based on those cards I brought back to the deck. And then, of course, for the Spirit Message cards, we are playing 2 Spirit Message Eyes, 2 Spirit Message Ends, 2 Spirit Message A's, and then, of course, 2 Spirit Message L's. And, of course, you guys are going to notice we're only playing 2 copies of each. I'm considering bumping them up to 3 each. But, like I said, I'm trying to be as considerate as possible. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Considerate as possible with this deck because it's very tight, very, very, very thought out, and very complex. Unless you want to play 1 copy of each card, which would be kind of stupid and pointless to me. I mean, you got Mastery to recover them, but if you're wanting for that quick win and you got the Dark Sanctuary to make one of these an impenetrable monster to where all your opponent does is either attack you or themselves, it just goes either way regardless. So you just got to be very particular on how you use the cards and use the deck. That's why I'm saying this deck is very well. You have to be very particular. But anyway, for more draw power, we're going for 2 Allure of Darkness. You banish 1 dark monster to draw, or you draw cards and then banish a dark monster. If you have no dark monsters, you have no choice but to discard your entire hand, which completely sucks. And then for generic spell, we play the 1 Terraforming just to search out the Dark Sanctuary. But that's it for the rest of the spells. And believe it or not, this deck only plays 5 traps, which is technically the recommendation of this deck. I'm not going to lie, unless you want to throw in your more tech support or whatever. It's entirely up to you. I'm not going to lie. But hey, everybody has a different playstyle, whatnot. I must admit, the common feature of Dark Spirit of Mastery looks really good. I will not lie on that note. But yeah, that's it for our spells. And then for the traps, we are only playing 2 Destiny boards. As soon as it activates once per turn during your standby phase, you are able to add a Spirit Message card from your deck and put its face up on the field anywhere you want. So therefore, once 4 more turns hits, you basically have the win condition. This card is so old. Like, this card is so freaking old. It was like Spirit Message Dash Final Countdown Lockdown decks were so horrifying back in the day. I'm not gonna lie. And for the rest of the trap cards, we have 3 Sentence of Doom. This card is without question the most broken card of the deck. I am not gonna lie to you. Okay, let me read to you what it does. Basically, what Sentence of Doom does is you can target any number of Fiend-type monsters that are banished or in your graveyard up to the number of Destiny Board and or Spirit Message cards you control and add them to your hand. Then you can send this card from your spell and trap card zone to the graveyard and place a Spirit Message card from your hand, deck, or graveyard in your spell and trap card zone, and it is treated as being placed by the effect of Destiny Board. You can only use the effect of that Sentence of Doom once per turn, once per turn. So, without question, it is a once per turn only during your turn when you use it. So, say for instance, if you had this set, you activate Destiny Board would trigger off, you would activate Sentence of Doom to get +2. If you open with, like, multiple Sentence of Dooms, like, you immediately have a win condition within just 2 or 3 turns. It's ridiculous. Honestly, so when I say this deck is terrifying, I literally meant what I said. This deck is terrifying. But that's it for all the traps. Now we're going to go into the extra deck. Now, I thought I had a few more of this one card, because it works for level 3 since it's a rank 3, so I'm just making do with it. We're only playing 1 copy of the number 48 Shadow Leech. It is a rank 3 fiend type or zombie monster. Basically what it does is it takes 2 level 3 monsters to make an Xyz summon. Once per turn during your opponent's turn, you can detach one Xyz material or one overlay unit from this card to special summon one Phantom Token Fiend type Dark level 4 or level 1 monster, Attack and defense is both 500. This quick effect, while you control a Phantom Token, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. And this card gains 500 attack points for each of the Phantom tokens you control. So if you happen to get 2 tokens on the field, this card can't be attacked until you destroy those tokens, which is absolutely just garbagely disgusting. And then we are playing a little bit of the Nightmare Engine. We are playing 1 Link 4 Nightmare Griffin. This card takes 4 material, 2 effect monsters with different, or 2 monsters with different names. It is a Link 4. If this card is Link summoned, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 spell and trap card in your graveyard and set it on your side of the field, but it cannot be activated this turn. So this card would basically work if you were going to use Sentence of Doom repeatedly. So I'm going to be very honest when I say this. This is a major screw you card for sure. If you happen to get so many monsters on the field to where you can link into it and then just get back a Sentence of Doom to make your finalized, I guess you want us to call it that. So yes, also when this card is on the field and it is attached to, or if its Link monster attacks to another Link monster, you're able to draw an extra card that turn. So not only are you able to bring back one of your spell or trap cards, you get a free draw for that turn. And then for part of the Nightmare Engine, we are playing 1 Nightmare Unicorn. Same concept, you discard 1 card to target 1 card on the field and return it to the deck. Then if this card is was co-linked with another monster, you are also able to draw another card this turn. And once per turn, while this card co-linked, you can on the field for your normal draw phase. Okay, then draw 1 card with a different card among them. Okay, so yeah, that's the last effect. The other co-linked effect is if this card was co-linked with the effect was activated, you can draw 1 card. Okay, so then there's another one. You can only activate the effect of Nightmare Unicorn once per turn. Also, draw in your draw phase, draw 1 card for each different card name amongst that, which is co-linked to Nightmare Unicorns. Okay, so that's just extra draw power. I forgot about that effect, honestly. That tells you how often I freaking use Nightmare Unicorn, because everybody uses the Nightmare Phoenix. Now, what this card does is, again, it is a link to Nightmare Unicorn is a link 3. Link to Phoenix basically suggests you discard 1 card and then target a card in your opponent's spell and trap card zone and destroy it. And if this card is co-linked, you get to draw another card. So, link summon, link summon, link summon, and then another link summon. So you're basically getting +3 draws or +4 draws regardless. And then we are playing 1 Codebreaker Virus Swordsman. Basically, what this card does is, it is a link 2 monster. When this card is special summoned, if it is co-linked, you can special summon 1 Codebreaker 0 day from your hand, deck, and or graveyard. We're not doing that to any zone this link card posts to. But during the end phase. However, if this card is in your graveyard, because it was destroyed while it's in your possession by an opponent's card and sent there this turn, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use the effect of Codebreaker Fire Swordsman once per turn. So it basically brings itself back when it's sent to the graveyard, which is really nice. And then for the other link 2, we are playing 1 Barricoding Blocker. Basically what this card does is, if this card is link summoned, you can discard a card during the end phase this turn to add a continuous spell or field spell from your graveyard back to your hand. You can use the effect of Barricoding Blocker once per turn. Face-up spell cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So if you're trying to, without question, protect your Spirit Message cards, he would be the main card you'd want to keep on the field to protect it, along with your Dark Sanctuary, so your opponent can't just pop it or whatever, or play a field barrier just to say screw you, because they'd be, well, yeah, it'd be kind of whatever to do that. And then we're playing 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice. It is a link 2 dark monster. It takes 2 dark monsters to link summon her. What she does is, as long as she's on the field, light monsters lose 400 attack and defense points. Therefore, it's their counterparts. Dark monsters gain 500 attack, and 400 defense. When YuGiOh's Apprentice is destroyed, you can also add any dark monster from your graveyard back to your hand, which is actually really nice. So it actually recovers your Nightmare Unicorn, your Barricoding Blocker, or even your Dark Necrofear or Cursed Necrofears. You'd want to go for the Cursed or Dark Necrofears. You can banish stuff, so which is nice. And then we're only playing part of the Unchained engine. We are playing one Unchained Soul of Rage. What Unchained Soul of Rage does is 2 monsters, including an Unchained. Oh, okay. Never mind. That's completely redundant. Oh, no, not redundant. It's just pointless. So we're just going to exclude that. I was tired when I was throwing this deck together, so I'm just like, oh, okay. I kind of screwed myself there. But I know a perfect replacement. I do have an IP Masquerena that will probably be the 8th card for this. So anyway, we're playing Link 2 of the Pentastag. It is a Link 2 monster. When it is on the field, when a monster is co-linked with this, if the attack is higher than the defense points, it basically makes that monster a piercing monster. Which I'm going to show you guys a very interesting combo with this card. I'm not going to lie to you on that note. And then we are playing the counterpart, which is the Link 3 version of Codebreaker Virus Berserker. Now, this is the Link 3 version of the Virus Swordsman. So Berserker, 2 monsters, including a Codebreaker monster, which, Virus Swordsman. When this card is special summoned, if it is co-linked, you can special summon up to 2 Codebreaker monsters from your hand and or graveyard, except the link monsters return main phase. But that's going to be completely irrelevant. You can also destroy spell and trap cards your opponent controls up to the number of Codebreaker monsters on the field, so you basically get a free MST with this card when it's summoned to the field, which is nice. And then we're playing one Decode Talker, because Decode Talker says, monsters that are in my link zone, I get a 500 point boost. So he's just there, just for there. And then here comes part of the combo, the Transcode Talker. When Transcode Talker is on the field once per turn, you can take a link 4, or no wait. Okay, correction, I'm correcting myself right now. You can take one link monster that is link 3 or lower and attach it to him. So, in other words, this would be the combo. If you just so happen to have Decode Talker on the field, and you link summon into Transcode Talker arrow is on the right side, you can bring back Pentastag. Actually, no, this would be the combo. With Transcode Talker is on the field, if Pentastag is on the field, you would want to link summon either or into one of these 2. Mainly, you want to go into Transcode Talker. You would bring Transcode Talker to the field, activate his effect to bring forth Pentastag. Therefore, their arrows would connect. So, when Pentastag, again, the effect states when a monster that is co-linked with this gains Pierce effect, and Transcode Talker gives a 500 point boost for any monster that's attached to his link. So, in other words, Pentastag would make him a 2800 piercer, which is actually very nice. And then, yeah, that is the one combo you want to try for sure. And then we're playing one Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. This is self-explanatory. She's a link 4 and can link off to how many monsters you have for it. Or say, for instance, if you have YuGiOh, you would want to link off with her and 2 other monsters. She gains 800 points for every monster that is used for her link summon, which 3200 for being a link 4. Or if you use a link 2 monster, you get 2 materials, so that's 2400. You basically, what she does is you sacrifice 800 of her attack points during each turn or once per turn. Or, yeah, each turn would be once per turn. Or to stop the effect of a... Okay, let me double check with this again so I'm not butchering myself. When your opponent activates a monster effect, yeah, it's a quick effect, and you sacrifice 800 points of her attack points to stop a monster effect. So she's a monster negate, which is nice. And then we are playing one of the brand new Link 5 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Now, again, that is the combo I was going to say up, because with IP Masquerena, when IP Masquerena is on the field, her effect specifically says quick effect, you can link this card off to link summon during even your opponent's turn. So her being a link 2, the combo with this is, the card specifically states, it takes 2 effect monsters regardless, but you're going to bypass that. You can use 1 monster your opponent controls as a material to link summon this card. So therefore, you're using IP Masquerena to link off with one of your opponent's monsters. So therefore, when they use their monster and you use IP Masquerena, okay, you guys are kind of following what I'm saying. You take IP Masquerena and steal one of their monsters and then use whatever else is on your field to go into this. That is the combo you want to play with this. So those two cards together are like bread and butter. IP Masquerena and Underworld Goddess of the Closed World are each other's bread and butter concept. And then, if this card is link summoned, you can negate the effects of a face-up monster your opponent controls. Also, this link summoned card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects unless they target this card. And then once per turn, when your opponent just so happens to activate a card or an effect, that card is special summon. You can special summon a monster from your graveyard to negate that activation. So in other words, it is a monster negate plus a monster target in negate. So no matter what, you guys got a solid board. But again, that was my stupidity. I did not pay attention, but it was late last night, and I didn't pay attention to the link requirements. So yeah, this card is out. Switch this out for IP Masquerena for this card to be a absolute combo. You got a link combo for sure with Pentastag, Transcode, or Transcode with Nightmare Unicorn or Phoenix right here, but mainly you want to go for Unicorn. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, yeah. Yeah, not really, unless you just so happen to co-link Transcode with him, and then co-link Transcode Talker with frickin' Actually, I don't know who I could co-link him with. Nah, I'm done. Unless you want to use IP Masquerena, just constantly use her effect to just link off monsters. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. Is this good? Is it bad? Is there anything else I can change besides this card? And but yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck, as I said, guys. So be sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this deck. Is it good? Is it bad? Is there anything else you guys would want to switch out or suggest? But as I said, this deck is basically Halloween themed because this weekend is basically Halloween weekend. So, woo, all you ghoulish ghosts and goblins and whatever. Goblin Slayer! Yeah, but it's going to be interesting for sure. But yes, like I said, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought of this deck. Was it good? Was it bad? Is there anything different you'd want to change about it? As I said, this deck is just for fun, so if you want to take it serious, be my guest. But yeah, unless you guys would want to see the extra deck, it's basically kind of just generic support. We are running 3 Karibos. You discard it to take 0 damage. 2 Ghost Sister into Spooky Dogwood. When she is discarded, for every time your opponent special summons or summons a monster to the field, you gain life points off that monster's attack. And then you're playing 2 Ghost Mortar of the Moonlight and Chill. If your opponent special summons monsters face up, except during a damage step, you can discard this card, then target one of those face-up cards, monsters, and negate the effect until the end of that turn. Also, if that face-up monster leaves the field this turn, you can also leaves the field. You can make your opponent take damage equal to that original attack. So, yeah, imagine your opponent summoning Winged Dragon of Ra, and you just so happen to drop this. Joke's on you. And then 1 Ghost Spell in the Haunted Mansion. Again, self-explanatory. You discard her to stop your opponent from special summoning or adding a card from their graveyard or hand or deck or the extra deck, and or special summon a monster from the graveyard or banish the cards from their graveyard. And then 2 Dimension Shifter, you discard him to make sure, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Until the end of this turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead, so that's just a screw you for certain decks. And then we're playing 2 Drowning Mirror Force, 2 Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell, and then 1 Metaverse. Again, Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell, you discard a spell to stop a spell activation if you're playing against Sky Strikers. This card says, oh, by the way, my ruling states any card with that name cannot be played anymore in the game. So I would wonder if this would lock out the 1 Sky Striker card and just not the entire Sky Striker spells itself. So somebody please leave in a comment in this comment section below if that card would actually screw with a frickin' Sky Strikers. But imagine this being played against Mystic Mine. Yeah, I just gave you guys some ideas if you guys want to basically troll a Mystic Mine player. But yeah, that's it for the side deck as well. So again, hope you guys are having a good October so far and a good Halloween season. You guys be safe this weekend, and hopefully we get another video up here soon for you guys to enjoy and see, of course. But until then, till the next video, be safe, take it easy, and take care, guys. This is Hidden Angel Lionheart signing out. Adios.